Jesus was once asked what the most important commandment was. Here's what he said: "You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. A second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus wants us to love our neighbor, but who exactly is our neighbor? In the parable of the Good Samaritan found in the 10th chapter of the book of Luke, Jesus taught that anyone in need is our neighbor. God created all of us in His image. The dignity of every person, whether rich or poor, encourages us to share our resources with one another, particularly with those in need. God identifies with the poor, as it says in the book of Proverbs. If you help the poor, you are lending to the Lord, and He will repay you. And this: those who oppress the poor insult their Maker, but helping the poor honors Him. In the 25th chapter of Matthew, Jesus said that those who do not care for the needy and the imprisoned showed, by this lack of action, that they are not even His followers. The verse says it like this: "I tell you the truth, when you refuse to help the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were refusing to help me." So who are the needy and vulnerable? They would include not only the poor, but all of those with less power, such as children, both born and unborn, the aged, persons with disabilities, immigrants, refugees, minorities, the persecuted, prisoners, and victims of human trafficking. In addition, God measures societies by how they treat the vulnerable and powerless. In the Old Testament, the prophets called God's people to create just and righteous societies. For example, from the book of Isaiah, it says this: "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. They deprive the poor of justice and deny the rights of the needy among my people. They prey on widows and take advantage of orphans. What will you do when I punish you, when I send disaster upon you from a distant land? To whom will you turn for help?" The prophets in the Old Testament insisted on both a fair legal system, which does not favor either the rich or the poor, and a fair economic system, which does not tolerate perpetual poverty passed on from generation to generation. God also forbids predatory lending that harms the poor, as it says in the book of Proverbs. Don't rob the poor just because you can, or exploit the needy in court. Economic justice includes the mitigation of suffering, the promotion of equality of opportunity, and the restoration of wholeness. The Bible condemns gross disparities in opportunity and outcome that cause suffering and perpetuate poverty. God wants people to have access to productive resources so that they can care for their economic needs and contribute to their community. For example, children need a high-quality education in order to fully develop their God-given talents. Access to proper nutrition, shelter, and health care are also important ingredients in helping people transcend poverty. Our social safety net must aim to provide opportunity and restore people to self-sufficiency. Adequate funding for food, shelter, and health care should be maintained so that those who cannot care for their families and themselves receive the support that they need. We urge Christians who work in the political realm to shape wise laws pertaining to the creation of wealth, wages, education, taxation, immigration, consumer protection, and health care that will protect those trapped in poverty and empower them to improve their circumstances. Since family systems are also important for nurturing healthy individuals and overcoming poverty, public policy should support families and marriages. Governments should hold parents responsible for the maintenance of their families, enforcing the collection of child support payments, and should protect family members from physical and sexual abuse. Immigration policies should prioritize family unity and avoid separating families by deportation or detention. Criminal justice reform should consider how over-incarceration breaks up families. We further believe that care for the vulnerable should extend beyond our national borders. American diplomacy and trade policies impact the poor. We urge our leaders to negotiate trade agreements that broadly benefit those of modest means while protecting human rights and the environment. We also believe effective aid and other initiatives for the reduction of global poverty should be a central concern of American foreign policy. Government should continue to partner with effective international aid agencies, including those that are faith-based. In many parts of the world, extreme poverty, disease, famine, environmental degradation, persecution, civil war, and weak or corrupt government create conditions in which large populations become vulnerable. We support Christian agencies and government policies that promote healthy communities and just democratic structures. Here at Hometown, we are committed to helping those who are less fortunate. We demonstrate this commitment through our Kingdom Builders campaigns, mission to our city and other mission trips, along with personal initiatives from our members. God cares for the powerless, the marginalized, the poor, and the weak. And we do too, here at Hometown Church. Thank you.